China. Now, India too has said that there will be no outcome document after the Sri Modi meeting at the Wuhan. Indian ambassador to China, Gautam Bambale, has said that no MOU or agreement would be signed at the informal meeting between the two leaders. There would be no agenda for the talks. The two leaders are expected to have a walk-in in a park or take a boat ride in Wuhan. The idea is to give them an atmosphere in which they can talk freely, frankly, candidly. He said this is a strategic communication at an overarching level, and the objective is to understand each other better.
An informal summit between two major leaders of the world. This is probably happening for the first time. In the past, we have had experiences where there is a formal visit, there's a formal component of a visit, and then 1 or 2 hours or maybe half a day is spent between the leaders meeting informally. In this particular visit, the entire visit is going to be informal. And when we say it is informal, the main elements of an informal summit, and in this particular informal summit between Prime Minister Mr. Modi and President Mr. Xi Jinping of China, the main elements will be that there is going to be no set agenda for their talks. It is not that there is a long agenda through which the two leaders will work through. There will be no set agenda. They will be in a very informal setting, a friendly setting. They will probably have a walk in the park, or they might have a boat ride on the East Lake here in Wuhan. And while they're doing this, they will be discussing various issues between the two of them.
Wuhan is located in China's landlocked Hubei province. The announcement of the summit was made by the Indian and Chinese foreign ministers. Last Sunday, the two leaders will seek to reset bilateral ties post-Doklam crisis in August last year. China and India were locked in a 73-day-long military standoff in Doklam sector. It is near Sikkim. The two nations disengaged the troops from the disputed side and agreed to defuse the tension from the plateau. And I'm joined by Gaurav Sharma, a journalist from Wuhan. Gaurav, let me ask you this first. This is a meeting which is taking place between Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister. In the Chinese context, has any such meeting taken place in China between Xi Jinping and any other foreign dignitary?
Well, Karthikeya, you are correct. Actually, this is a never seen before summit between the leaders of any two countries, let alone the meeting between Indian Prime Minister and any Chinese president. And if you see, there have been ice-breaking visits by the leader, ice-breaking visits and meets by other leaders, but never has this but never of this kind. And if you see, this time is going to be free-flowing discussion in an open manner. It has never happened before. There have been visits by Richard Nixon when then Prime Minister, like in 1970s when he came to visit China. It was a kind of a ice-breaking trip, but again the atmosphere was not euphoric as this time it has been between India and China. And if you see, Xi Jinping has emerged as the strongest leader after Mao. He's the strongest leader after Mao Zedong, and he has never given such 2 days to any leader in such manner. Trump was here, but it was more of a formal visit. There was formal gatherings, but yeah, he has never given 2 days to any leader. So he's actually considered to be a very heavyweight in the international arena. So you can imagine the kind of importance China is giving to India now, Karthikeya. In fact, Rajiv Gandhi and Deng Xiaoping, they had a meeting in 1988. Deng Xiaoping is a paramount leader of China. But again, the visit was more of a choreographed visit. There was a lot of formalities. So that was actually an ice-breaking visit. But this time, this is something which is very, very different. It's out of the league,
okay.
And it will not be an extemporary. It will not be a hyperbole if I say that this is one of its kind. Even Chinese sides have been describing this visit as one of its kind, and which can, quote unquote, restart or a defining moment in Sino-Indian relations, Karthik.
Before I let go of you, what are the things which you expect to be discussed? What are the issues which two people will take up, and something which will never be part of the public domain, public narrative, and still be part of the menu when it comes to both the premiers?
Absolutely. As we have heard, Mr. Bambawale, who is India's ambassador to China, he has said that this time there will be no formal agenda. But it doesn't mean that they are not going to discuss contentious and thorny or pesky issues between both the countries. There will be issues, but this time they are not going to make any outcome public. So they are going to release it in a timely manner. I'm sure the border dispute, which is a long-standing dispute between both the countries, will certainly come up, because as India is concerned about this dispute, China is also concerned, because China has 14 countries, 14 neighbors, and of all the 14 neighbors, it is only India and India and Bhutan which is not been able to settle its dispute with. So these are the pestering issues. Your CPEC issue. I'm sure China would like India on board on Belt and Road project, because day before yesterday, India again disapproved of the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's joint communique supporting Belt and Road, and India was not in the paragraph did not mention the name of India. The paragraph did not mention India. So China would like India on board. There's a trade war. There's an ongoing trade war between China and US. I'm sure China would want India to be on board with the country, so that they can because there's a problem. US is actually withdrawing from the international landscape. It's going more inward. So here there's an opportunity between China and India to anchor the world and to actually contribute to the world economy. And both the countries and the officials in both the countries do actually on board, and they actually believe that they can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for this. Thank you for this update and joining me from Beijing. But I think Gaurav made very interesting point in terms of how this meeting will shape up.